Hi guys, one of here back again for another video on the channel. And this one today then, Swansea have announced their 9th summer signing, a very busy summer for the Swans indeed. And the player we have signed today is Marko Stamenic from Nottingham Forest. Now Marko is a 6'2" central defensive midfielder, 23 years of age. Now, was signed by Nottingham Forest last summer from Red Star Belgrade and hasn't made a senior appearance in a competitive game for Nottingham Forest. So yeah, not too sure how that's worked out for Nottingham Forest in the end, but they do tend to do these sorts of deals quite often. Now, he did spend last season on loan at Nottingham Forest's sister club Olympiakos, where he played a decent amount of game time over in Greece. He also played 4 games in the Europa League as well. So yeah, some very good experience for him in European competitions. Like I said, yet to make a senior start for Nottingham Forest. He has won 31 caps for his national team, then New Zealand, so 31 caps at the age of 23. Very, very good player for New Zealand. I know, obviously, New Zealand have qualified for the World Cup next year in America, Mexico and Canada. So hopefully Marko, if he has a good time at Swansea, can get back into that New Zealand team, which he already is at the moment. But staying injury-free, it'd be great to see another Swansea City player be in the World Cup. Obviously, we've got Cameron Burgess, who will probably be likely to get into the World Cup as well. We've got some Welsh players. Hopefully, we'll be on that plane to America as well. Like I said, 6'2" defensive midfielder, really strengthens what we already have in that position. Obviously, Jay Fulton is probably the better player we've got at the moment who can play that role. Obviously, Galbraith played there midweek, was outstanding, but you know, he's a bit better further up the pitch. So yeah, not sure what this means for the future of Jay Fulton, maybe the future of Ollie Cooper as well. Obviously, we signed Malik Yelkoui as well yesterday from Brighton and Hove Albion. So yeah, really strengthening that midfield position. And like I said, it's an area which is the strongest on the pitch, and we just keep strengthening. Now, obviously, I'm not going to overhype this player, Marko Stamenic. At the end of the day, he hasn't played a single game in England, so I'm not too sure what to expect really in terms of what his level will be like at the Championship. But in terms of his European pedigree, like I said, 4 games last season in Europa League for Olympiakos, and then 2 seasons ago he was at Red Star Belgrade, 4 games in the Champions League there, and the season prior to that he also played 4 games in the Champions League for FC Copenhagen. So some very big teams there. Copenhagen, probably the biggest team in Denmark. You've got Red Star Belgrade, one of the biggest clubs in Serbia, and obviously you've got Olympiakos, who are absolutely massive in Greece, with Panathinaikos and other teams like that. So yeah, 9th summer signing, really strong, physical, tall, so hopefully it just adds a bit more height, a bit more physicality, especially when you have a lot of teams in this division like Millwall, for example, Stoke, who will use that physical power to bully your midfield. Now, technically, I was really happy with our midfield. You know, Yelkoui looks a great player. Weidel, obviously, looks a bit raw at the moment, but, you know, he gets stuck in. Galbraith, again, brilliant. But one thing we were missing was a younger defensive midfielder who can really run the park. Now, I still expect Fulton to have a future. If one midfielder is going to leave Swansea this summer, I probably would go for Ollie Cooper. I know he played midweek the full 90 minutes, but I didn't really think he impacted the game too much. And Cooper now is at an age where, you know, he's approaching his prime years, so really needs to start kicking on and getting some minutes under his belt, because the last couple of seasons his minutes have been restricted for whatever reasons, injury or just form not being there. But yeah, Marko Stamenic seems a decent player, to be honest. Like I said, not going to overhype. It's a world-class signing like Yelkoui. I knew about Yelkoui a little bit, looked at his stats. Obviously, Stamenic's stats aren't as good as Yelkoui's, but Yelkoui looks an absolute wonder kid. So, yeah, 23, another good age in terms of, you know, lowering their overall squad age down and getting a good average age. So, yeah, Fulton, obviously, his age, 32 now. His legs are starting to go a little bit, so it really helps Fulton out in that area now that we haven't got to rely on Fulton all the time to see games out. So, Stamenic, I'm not too sure whether he'll be a starter at the moment, a bench player. I definitely think he'll be in and around, you know, starting games very soon. Obviously, we are playing Plymouth in a few weeks' time in the Carabao Cup, so that could be an opportunity to see him and Yelkoui as well to bed them in. But yeah, really excited about this signing anyway. If there is any Nottingham Forest fans in the comment sections down below, then please let me know what you think about this signing for Swansea. Obviously, not expecting him to have a great opinion, as he's never played a competitive game for your club, but if there are any Red Star Belgrade fans, Copenhagen or Olympiakos, then I would very much appreciate it. Now, I'm not too sure how much Forest signed him for, and I'm not even sure how much we're signing him for. There's been no real reports of figures being released. It'll probably go down as an undisclosed fee, so I'll try my best for the thumbnail to put some sort of fee in. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna be like an outstanding fee. It's not gonna be our most expensive, but I don't think it's gonna be our cheapest deal this summer either. Now, last summer he was actually being heavily linked to move to Coventry, and he did actually turn Coventry down. So I'm not too sure why he turned Coventry down, and a year later he's playing for us. Like, as much as I love Swansea, it is a bit of a downgrade in that Coventry. We've seen our best player leave for Coventry, Matt Grimes. We've all seen Bidwell, Latabordia, Ross Swift's there now. Casey Palmer, Yorkerez, so many ex-Swans players were at Coventry, so it's a little bit of a stepping stone to the Coventry and it's to progress your careers. But yeah, I don't know why you turned down Coventry. Maybe you thought you could get a better move, and that's no disrespect to Coventry. Maybe you thought you could play at the elite level in terms of the top 5 leagues, but obviously it didn't work out for him. But really happy with it. You know, if Coventry we're going to get him, Coventry midfield, like players like Jack Radooney, who they signed for really cheap and about very highly linked with a move to Southampton for, you know, double figures. You know, it's really, really good that we can get another player. And again, I've got to credit the board how quiet this deal was kept. We don't want other clubs sniffing around the players we want, especially when it was really, really heavily reported that we were in for Richard Corney and we didn't get him in the end. So I feel like if it's kept quiet, we've got a lot better chances of getting these players through the door, because we just can't offer bigger wages than the majority of the clubs. We are on a very low budget. And thanks to Pro, obviously getting promoted Leeds, bit of money coming in there and selling clauses, etc., etc. More money for the door is better for Swansea. But yeah, like I said, it's another midfielder for the door. Our 9th summer signing, not including Melka, Vidal. And yeah, it's looking really good to be a Swans fan at the moment. Again, I weren't too sure if we needed another midfielder. We got one anyway. And yeah, the board definitely have enlightened that fans forum, saying they're going to get 3 or 4 more players. So we've got 2 in Maliki Kulu. I've also got Marko Stamenic. And again, it's another player from overseas, in terms of another player from another country we haven't had in a while. No idea the last time we had a New Zealand international. If anyone can let me know in the comments the last New Zealand player to play for Swansea, that'd be very good. Obviously, we've had Mark Burgett in the past, who was Australian, I think, or New Zealand, one of the two. Sorry if you're Australian or New Zealand. Obviously, Cameron Burgess. So yeah, really, really excited. You know, we're going continental, we're going worldwide, and this is what happens when you've got people like Snoop Dogg, like Modric. Just really helps the Swans grow in terms of the footballing world. So yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Swansea City then have signed Marko Stamenic, so I'm going to assume it's an undisclosed fee from Nottingham Forest, but it's a midfielder who can provide a lot of depth, a lot of competition, a lot of quality, a lot of aerial duels, and most importantly, that physicality we really needed in a midfield which is quite small and weak. But yeah, thanks for watching. Welcome to Swansea City, Marko Stamenic, who becomes Swansea City's 9th summer signing of the 2025-2026 summer transfer window.
I need one more chance. Oh, baby, let me show you. I need one more chance.